Is it a twin flame relationship or a trauma bond? This is the number one most overlooked question in the twin flame community, and yet I believe this is the most important place to begin if you are just starting to navigate your journey. If you're trying to figure out what kind of an enigmatic relationship you're now dealing with, and if this is the kind of relationship that will bring you into deeper union with yourself. Now, interestingly, paradoxically, whether or not you are now dealing with a true twin flame, whatever relationship you have in your mind can be used to alchemize your personal unconsciousness, your shadow side, in order to come into deeper union with yourself. Because the first important understanding to achieve is that every single partner that you manifest in your lifetime is a match to you. Every partner is in a way a divine counterpart because they are a mirror of your consciousness. Anyone you attract is a vibrational match to you and helps you understand through the reflection of the relationship dynamic what you have loaded in your subconscious mind when it comes to your beliefs about yourself and others and relationships and love and union, and the expectation that you have surrounding love and understanding which is achieved through the relationship with another. When it comes to a true twin flame, this relationship can appear to be a toxic, traumatic, codependent bond at times. Because if you are ready to enter the twin flame union, you must understand that this journey is going to expose all of your blind spots. It's going to make you vulnerable to the deepest unconscious aspects of you, which expose your narcissistic elements, the elements of selfishness, egocentrism, and all kinds of personal deficits, which you now don't believe are hindering you from experiencing true love, but that your twin flame will inevitably expose because such is the nature of the dynamic. If you attract a trauma bond into your life, the beginning stage can feel exactly like a twin flame relationship. Namely, you will feel that characteristic excitement, the physical and emotional chemistry, the feeling that this person is somebody you've never encountered before, and you feel this fire and this heat and this desire to fully get to know them and learn them inside and out because there is something that person holds, which is a match to you. Now, the danger about experiencing this kind of initial infatuation and limerence is that it could be just that. It could be a desire for an empath to be chronically bonded with the narcissist, to create this kind of a codependent match, which leads to the exhilaration of being seen, being heard, being understood. But what's happening really at the core level is that these two people's subconscious becomes entangled in a need to be seen, understood, because they both don't feel completely whole from within. Now, the difference in a twin flame relationship is that the two people that are in a twin flame bond actually do experience a sense of wholeness. There is a sense of inner unity. These two people are seeking deeper spiritual understanding, and they're not completely bonded from a desire to just complete their incompleteness. What they're actually trying to do is to understand themselves more fully through the understanding of the other, which leads to even more inner equilibrium. When you manifest your twin flame into your life, there's a certain degree of readiness and emotional maturity that you have to already have experienced within yourself to meet them. It's kind of like you meet them at a certain level of the hero's journey when you are already ready to level up, when you've acquired enough spiritual awareness to look within and to understand them through the eyes of God in order to truly understand what is still separating you from your own divinity. So when you meet a twin flame, you're ready to undergo the subsequent series of steps, which allow you to dive deeper into your own psyche through the reflection of theirs, and through the spiritual progression that occurs both on a physical, emotional, and spiritual level. Therefore, the first sign of a twin flame relationship is that intense desire to bond. It's that initial meeting which sets off the electricity within you and makes you feel like you are remembering being with your twin flame. You have this desire to keep getting to know them, to fully connect with them in mind, body, and spirit. In which case, the trauma bond can feel very similarly. Only in the subsequent steps can we really start to sense the difference. As you continue to get to know your twin flame, you may start to discover the emotional triggers. You might feel at a certain point that your twin flame either withdraws from you, becomes cold, or emotionally distant when you become more vulnerable. It's at this stage that one twin may begin to run or evade the dynamic while the other begins to chase. This is usually where the equilibrium is tilted and the deeper issues of codependency, lack of self-worth, and trust are illuminated. Very often, both twin flames have idealized the idea of love in the past, and it may be dreamt about the exact kind of a union they start to experience with their actual twin. However, when the intensity of the love takes over, one or the other may decide to run. One or the other may feel like this love is too much for them, and that they have to be too vulnerable and too emotionally open to this experience of love, which may make them feel afraid. In which case, past triggers and emotional experiences involving heartbreak, conditional love, betrayal, or all kinds of different kinds of conditional attachments come into the picture to make that twin feel like this love is either the false twin flame dynamic or something that has to be evaded so that they don't feel hurt like they did in the past. Now, in a trauma bond, very often, one person who believes that they're in a twin flame union is an empath. The empath has a desire to experience love with somebody who is emotionally unavailable to them. This perpetrator of the emotional unavailability tends to be a narcissist, somebody who has experienced a lack of true love in the past and has a background of either abuse, narcissism running in their family, manipulation, and has become a chronic liar and person who uses other people to get what they want and have their needs met. Now, when an empath finds himself in a relationship with somebody who appears to be a charming, charismatic person who could play the twin flame kind of a role, they may start to co-idealize that partner, in which case there could be a reciprocation from the narcissist side to co-idealize the empath. If the empath gives sufficiently in the narcissistic dynamic, the empath starts to feel special. They start to feel like the twin flame is their one and only. And they start to experience this myriad of reciprocal neurochemicals, lots of dopamine, lots of adrenaline, lots of serotonin, also met with lots of cortisol, the stress hormone, which leads to this cascade of never-ending ups and downs, which can make the two feel very bonded together. If this is the case, and if the empath needs the narcissist to feel whole, then the twin flame dynamic, which is really the false twin flame dynamic in the trauma bond, can become so deep that the two partners are totally enmeshed and believe that they need each other to be whole. This is not a true twin flame dynamic. Because what twin flames are about is actually achieving a sense of divine love together as well as divine singularity. There needs to be the sense that when two partners come together, they become even more complete together. However, they are already complete on their own. This is very important to realize, because if the two partners feel like they are only complete together, that is a telltale sign of codependency. There needn't be a feeling like if you are without your partner, you can't live, you can't survive, you can't experience emotional fulfillment. And actually, if in the case of a true twin flame union, one partner believes that they need the other to continue staying whole, they will never achieve true union in the physical. This is the amazing thing about twin flame unions. You cannot actually evade a twin flame bond if you are actually in one. You can try to distract yourself from the reality that you have a twin flame, but if you have met your divine counterpart, you're always experiencing the entanglement with them. And if you have healed your issues deeply enough to experience your wholeness, you will end up with your twin flame. That is not the case with a trauma bond. If one or the other people in a trauma bond, typically the empath, who idealizes the grandiosity of this twin flame relationship, which is really just a trauma bond, starts maturing, setting boundaries, stops putting up with the manipulation, with the deceit, with the control, with the conditional love, and decides to level up to experience a true degree of self-love, then that empath will soon realize that what they thought was the twin flame relationship is really just a trauma bond. This is what you need to ask yourself if you're now experiencing an emotionally unfulfilling relationship that you want to believe is a twin flame bond, but really need to understand might not be the case. The most important thing about why twin flame relationships exist to understand is that they are here to teach you how to merge with yourself and with the divine. They are to help you understand the nature of unity consciousness, which means that if you're in a true twin flame relationship, the goal is to experience that sacred oneness. If you experience sacred oneness with and within yourself, you can know with certainty that you, as a result of the entanglement, are also helping your twin manifest the necessary changes within themselves to find that unity, to heal, and to come back home to themselves and you. It's as simple as that. But if you're in a trauma bond, you leveling up, you expanding your consciousness, you increasing your frequency, and you finding wholeness within yourself is going to be the same thing that is necessary to say goodbye to your narcissistic false twin flame and lead you to where true union lies, possibly with your true twin flame or with a true soulmate, wherein you can truly experience that love that you're feeling within yourself. Love is not something to be chased, to be pursued, to be dreaming of, or to be infatuated with. It is not a concept that you dream of without experiencing the true inner equilibrium of your heart, mind, and spirit. And this is what the true twin flame union teaches. When you start experiencing these stages with your true twin, there may be a series of running, chasing phases. There may be confusion. There may be a lot of past triggering that comes up for both twins, which leads you down the rabbit hole of self-analysis of your own past, of your childhood, of why maybe you're putting up these ramifications between you and love, between you and source, between you and your heart and your own vulnerability to the truth of what you're experiencing. However, when you go through this inner analysis and you truly accept you, your twin, you adopt a non-judgmental philosophy and try to achieve more inner empathy and more respect for the differences, you can choose to truly align and not go back to a traumatic relationship, but truly elevate into one of divine love and peace. Now, unfortunately, what many twin flames realize is that the relationship can be very traumatic. There is usually a strong period of separation that occurs when the twins have to go through their maturity. They have to, at some point, separate in order to learn their lessons, to analyze themselves, sometimes to learn through distance apart, through comparison of the relationship with other life circumstances, and to realize really what they're experiencing with their partner when they're not confronted with that mirror of consciousness that their partner is. When the separation occurs, you can go through a lot of depression, a lot of difficult thoughts, and feel like you either are not worthy of being in that relationship or experiencing love yourself. During the dark night of the soul, which is a culmination of the experiences you can experience with your true twin flame, you may realize what is truly in the way between you and love. And you go through all of this triggering, all of this difficulty and emotional pain to really learn to let go, to surrender, and to connect to a higher kind of love, which comes through a soul understanding of what all of this is for. Typically, when you go through the lows of the twin flame experience, you go through a kind of quantum jump that puts you in a high point of understanding that this journey is actually manifested by you and your higher self's desire to go through all this difficulty to come back to the true understanding of love. And you have to go through pain until you realize that you're ultimately paining yourself by not letting go, by resisting, by holding on to certain egocentric facades and falsity, which keeps you away from both your truth and from the desired twin flame union. You may start to realize deeply enough when you surrender and look within yourself that you are the cause of all of this pain that is occurring within your twin flame bond. And if this sounds crazy, then I want you to think about how what you are manifesting in your relationship could actually be a total reciprocation of what you're experiencing deep within yourself. It could be an exact mirror of what you feel about whether you deserve love and deserve receiving what your twin flame can offer you, which is pure unconditional truth, love, acceptance, empathy, and understanding of who you are at your core. In other words, in order to be with your twin flame, you have to actually accept who you are, which involves your vulnerabilities, your shadow, your light aspects, your purpose, your mission, your aspirations, your beautiful and not so beautiful aspects, which your twin flame already is bound to adore. But unless you come to love yourself, your twin flame cannot love you. And by you running away from yourself, ultimately your twin flame runs from you. This is the deep lesson that all true twin flame unions teach. And this is the lesson that all trauma bonds also tend to teach. But you have to learn this in a trauma bond by releasing the relationship that does not serve you. When it's a trauma bond, that partner is not there for you. The relationship is not emotionally fulfilling, and they don't see you, they don't fully understand you, because they're not a true match to your soul. That person is there as a teacher, and you can be grateful for having attracted them. And all of us have attracted some forms of karmic relationships in our lives in order to understand who we are more deeply through somebody who's just not a true match to us. Be grateful for that person, but learn to release them when you realize that you decide you are worthy of more. Because when you decide you're worthy of love, you realize that that person does not vibrate at your level, and you become immune to the manipulation, the conceit, the lies, and all of the treatment that does not truly reflect what you deserve. Meanwhile, a twin flame does not ever intend to actually hurt you. If there's pain in the relationship, know that it is projected from a subconscious place of lack within yourself. It is due to your own unfamiliarity with the condition of love that comes from simply being, from simply experiencing what is in your heart and soul. And when that is a default condition within you, you start to magnetize your twin back into your life. So realize that if you're shaky between what you're experiencing, if this is a true twin flame you're dealing with or a trauma bond, drop the idealization. Drop the desire to be in this fantasy world with your twin and start wondering what you are actually experiencing. Where is the desire for this love coming from? Is your experience reflective of something truly supernatural involving a myriad of synchronicities, 5D kinds of signs, dreams, incredible feelings deep within you that move your soul, or are you just choosing to play this game with yourself, to believe in a love that is making you feel better than you actually are, while making you experience signs of an unrewarding relationship in the 3D? If you're trying to run away from yourself by putting yourself in a more manipulative and defective relationship that makes you feel like you can fix a partner to experience divine love, then you just have to learn how to give yourself the love that you are seeking. And whether you're in a true twin flame bond or a trauma bond, this is ultimately the lesson you're here to learn. You're here to learn not to find love, but how to be love. You're here to learn how to give and to receive with somebody who mirrors your ability to do the same. So look for that kind of openness. Look for the empathy that is indicative of somebody who is ready to learn and grow with you, and to hold your heart at the same level that you're ready to hold yours in light of the divine purpose you're here to serve.